welcome again to Chef Rick's Special Kitchen. You know, this time of year is a very special time for those of us that love to cook. We have family coming over, there's a chance to sit around the table and share stories and especially old recipes from our childhood days. Today's program for Chef Rick is going to introduce an entirely new dish that we haven't seen at all before that's specially for the holidays. We're also going to review some of our past incredibly successful dishes like the petite size frozen peas and also our flaming hot dogs, chien flambé, as you may remember. Now, today I'm very happy to share with you the fact that we have another chef on the site here that's going to help us with all of this. It's Chef John, who you may remember from a prior program. John, nice to have you with us today.
Chef Rick, I am delighted to be back with you.
Good.
When you're preparing good food in the kitchen, is it important to be consuming some adult beverage?
You know, one of the things that my friends who are really involved with wine, they are all tangled up in their shorts about, you know, what kind of wine pairs with what kind of food. Now, you know, so you hear a lot about the pairing stuff.
I've heard a lot of that, and I find it very confusing. Can you help clarify that for us today?
Yeah, I can. Mostly the concern about pairing is bullshit. When you want to drink a glass of wine, you want a goddamn glass of wine, and it doesn't care if you're having fish. Oh, red wine with fish? Who cares? So today what we're going to do for our adult beverage is do the kind of pairing that we think goes very well with cream peas. And of course, it's a Sutter Home rosé. Now, unfortunately, Sutter Home does not make a rosé. So what we're going to do is improvise. Now, as you recall from our previous programs, we pretty much use the small bottles of Sutter Home to go with our dinner. And we can also use their Merlot, their red wine. But as we all know, rosé has sort of a pink wine. And so the way for us to get the rosé we're looking for is simply to blend these two, don't you think? So we have our special decanter here, which will filter the wine and make it very tasty for us. So we get our two bottles, our red and our white, and then we'll just combine them as they go through the process of the filtration. So here we go into our decanter. Look at that wine. It looks like a rosé if I've ever seen it. Beautiful, just beautiful. It makes a wonderful noise, too. So there we have it. That's our blend. We really appreciate the ability to be flexible with our plastic bottles from Sutter Home. That rosé is looking really good. Got a little pink quality to it. The aroma. Think about that. I wonder what it tastes like. Oh, man. The nectar of the gods, that's what I would call it.
Nectar of the gods.
Now, John, now that we have our wine ready to go, we have to decide what kind of glass to put it in.
You know, that's a problem because in many restaurants they have so many different kinds of glasses. I'm always confused which glass goes with which wine.
You know, it's not surprising to me that you are confused because everybody is confused. And along with how you pair your wine,
Yeah.
the kind of glass to drink it out of is more massive bullshit that keeps this industry going. And I have read articles about how with sort of a red wine, you know, you want the curved glass so the aroma comes up through the top of the glass and smells so good. And I want to show you some of the glasses that you often see restaurants use. You know, it seems like the number of types of glasses you should be using for your wine, depending on if it's red or white or rosé, it goes on and on and on. Somebody's making a lot of money on this, and I'll tell you what, we're not supporting it. So along with all of this nonsense about what pairing you should have with your wine and your food and all the pairing, is this total nonsense about what kind of glass to put your wine in. You know, like you want this big glass like this so that the aroma comes up through the top. Are you kidding me? Who cares? All you need is a cup to drink your wine out of. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these glasses. You know, here's the tall glass. We don't need it. Oh, we don't need that. Here's another tall glass. How about this? Looks like a martini glass. Here's a little glass. And oh, here's our big glass. These beautiful red cups. That's all you need to enjoy your wine. Is just something to hold it in rather than drinking it out of the bottle. Well, what I want to do is show you how you can develop a really terrific dish for your holiday family festivities. Now, my mother used to make creamed onions, and these creamed onions were really tasty. So I've decided to try and do a recipe of creamed onions just like my mother used to do it. Now, it starts with a hot saucepan like this, and then we throw in some butter. That's the first step. So we get the butter in there. The butter's melting away. Probably the pan's a little bit too hot, but you know, the problem is I don't have a lot of energy for things taking a long time. Remember, the key to all of Chef Rick's recipes is speed. So you don't have to spend a lot of time screwing around with it. So the old days, you have to get the melted butter in there, and then you have to sort of put in some flour, and you sort of, they talk about you whisk it in like this, you know, like this, and it's sort of somewhat, it's melting, it's going along with the butter, and how much goddamn flour am I supposed to put in, and how much butter, I don't know. Well, there's some milk here. Let's put in the milk too, and we put the milk in, and it's turning into a paste, you know. This kind of reminds me of the paste you used to have in grammar school. Remember, and people would eat the paste, the kids would eat the paste, and so you're going like this. And my mother's recipe said it should take a long time. It should be done very slowly. But, you know, in Chef Rick's world, we don't have time for this. And if the sauce isn't bad enough, you should see trying to get the damned onions ready to go. So right now, we're going to watch Chef John as he tries to prepare our onions for our creamed onions. So, what do I have in place of this horrible mess that takes 45 minutes or an hour to prepare? It's the Chef Rick recipe for creamed onions. We have our onions. Now, rather than buying these complicated, big old onions in the store, you buy them in a can or a bottle. So there are our onions right there. Right there. Got them? See? Very simple. We pour right out of the jar into the pan. Now, we're going to heat those babies up on a low flame. We don't want to make it too low because remember, we don't want this to take very long. Next, rather than that god-awful mess we had over there with my mother's white sauce, I'm going to suggest to you that you buy Aunt Penny's white sauce. Simple. Just take that, pour it right in the saucepan like this, heat it up, and we're going to add a little bit of water to the Aunt Penny's sauce. That old white sauce is getting smoother and smoother. Now remember, the secret to all this stuff is timing. How much time has it taken me so far to do this? I'd say maybe 2 minutes. So 2 minutes versus 2 or 3 hours with my mother's recipe. Who's got time for that? You know, we work in a very busy time. Most of us are stressed for time. We have children, we have work, we have relationships we have to pay attention to. Now, who's got time to screw around with all of this stuff? So it looks like now our Aunt Penny's white sauce is getting ready. It's less chunky. So I'm just going to pour it right in on top of my onions. Ready? Watch this. Look at that, folks. Those are creamed onions. Pretty cool, huh? And you know what? How long did that take us? Less than 5 minutes. And you are going to really surprise your family. They are going to be so excited when at the holiday dinner you bring out your creamed onions, a la the recipe of Chef Rick. Now that our creamed onions are ready to go, I'm going to put them on the back burner as we move on to the rest of our meal, which is going to involve frozen peas and, of course, flaming hot dogs. And I'm going to turn it over now to Chef John, who's going to show you how he handles the frozen pea issue.
Speed matters. So we have the water boiling, lift the lid, dump in the peas. That's easy. A little touch of salt. Put the lid back, well, give it a quick stir. Put the lid back on, and the beauty of using these petite frozen peas is that as soon as the water returns to boiling, they'll be ready in a minute as opposed to an hour. After only a couple of minutes, look at here, the peas are boiling, the peas are ready. Now, peas alone, that would not be succulent. So what we need is not a little butter. I mean, without a lot of butter, these peas just would lose something. But butter alone is not enough. Another little pinch of salt, and then sour cream. Because petite peas without sour cream, and we don't need a little sour cream. I mean, for goodness sake, in Chef Rick's kitchen, we're going to really give it a dose of butter and sour cream until we have what look like creamed peas that'll go along perfectly with our creamed onions. And now the peas are ready, the onions are ready, so we'll put these also on the back burner, and now we'll prepare our main dish.
Now we come to the main event, the main dish. John has shown you how we're all set with the frozen peas. We have the Chef Rick recipe for doing creamed onions, not his mother's recipe, much quicker, ready to go. Now we have flaming hot dogs, which of course is the centerpiece of our incredible meal here tonight. Before I show you how to do the flaming hot dogs, I do want to mention that I've changed aprons. Before I had an apron that was given to me by Power Speaking that said Chef Rick, the myth, the man, and the legend. Now this one says Ricardo 5+. My sister-in-law, Kathleen Shattuck, needed a ride to and from the airport, and so when she was visiting, so I gave her a ride and I called myself an Uber driver, and she liked that. She thought I did a good job, and I became Ricardo the Uber driver. After it was all over, she gave me this beautiful apron, and it says Ricardo 5+. Not just 5+. Now, let's go to the main event, which is, as you remember from last time, chien flambé. Now, this is a very fancy French dish, flaming hot dogs. Actually, it's probably chien haute flambé, but never mind, we just call it chien flambé. Now, what we do is we get our hot dogs ready to go, all boiled and hot and ready to go. We heat them up in our pan. Here we go. 1, 2. Now these hot dogs, you boil them first so they're basically cooked all throughout. And then you put them in your pan. This will be your serving pan. And when you're ready to serve, when everything's ready, when you have your peas and your creamed onions and you're ready to go, then you light them on fire and you bring them to the table on fire. So I'm about ready to do that. You want to see this? It's pretty spectacular. First of all, I put on my special eye guard. Now I take my highly flammable alcohol. These chefs are professionals. Do not try this at home. You have your hot dogs and you're ready to light them up. Look at that, folks. Those are flaming hot dogs. You ask your friends, have they ever had a dish like this? The answer will be no, because they are so special. You only hear about them at Chef Rick's. Unbelievable. You bring these into the table when you have a dinner party and people are going to be amazed. So we're going to dish them up right here. It's a little less formal than a dinner party. And I bring my hot dogs over to the plates. Doesn't this blow your mind about how exciting this is to see these babies on fire? This is beautiful. John's wonderful frozen peas bathed in sour cream and butter. Oh, it doesn't get any better than this, folks. Look at that. Oh my God. And then we have our creamed onions, which of course is the whole point here. This is such a wonderful dish for a holiday season. And with Chef Rick, you can do the whole thing in 10 minutes. You don't have to spend 2 hours fooling around with onions. What you do is you get some canned onions, toss them in the pan with a little Aunt Penny's white sauce. And friends, you are ready for a dinner unlike any that you've ever had before. Now let's join Rick and John as they enjoy this dinner, of course watching the evening news. And don't forget, they have to have an adult beverage as they're eating. So John and I are so proud of this holiday meal that we have prepared for each other and hopefully for you to try this out. And we're ready to sit down and eat. Now, John, is there anything more?
Well, for a meal like this, I think we need a good wine.
Oh, yeah.
And we had the rosé earlier.
Right.
I think for this combination, what we would need is the Sutter Home Chardonnay. But Chef Rick, I'm so discouraged because when I go to the store, I find these little bottles of Sutter Home, and I was hoping maybe a bigger bottle. Does such a thing exist?
You bet it does. Chef John, I'm happy to show you this 1/5 bottle of Sutter Home Chardonnay. It is
And
a
it
beauty.
has a gold label.
Absolutely. You can't get any better than this. Now, since we're some heavy drinkers, and this meal is really going to last for a few hours, we need some really good
there
glass
you
to
go.
drink it in.
That's
So
a
we
glass.
need a serious glass to drink this wine in. So let's just pour this Sutter Home into our great big old,
Oh, yeah.
look at that. Man, that's going to last us for what, at least a couple hours.
Yeah, I would say.
What a beauty. Love that sound. And so if the president and the situation in Washington is making you unhappy, we recommend creamed peas, creamed onions, flaming hot dogs, and some Chardonnay by Sutter Home. So, well, the deal here is that my doctor said I should have just 1 glass of wine a day, for my heart. So let me show you how this works, John. You can't beat it. Okay, Chef John, are you ready for a little sip out of our big glass? Or
Well, I'm ready, and I would love to do it, Chef Rick. But I recently had shoulder surgery.
no?
So I did, and to be able to pick up that glass, I'm not sure I could do it.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm recovering, but there's still some residual issues.
Is this shoulder here?
Yeah, it's that shoulder.
How does it feel?
Well, oh,
John! Oh my God! Oh, are you okay?
oh.
Do we need to go to the hospital?
No, what I think I need is some Sutter Home Chardonnay.
In a small bottle.
Yeah, I could probably get that one down.
John actually did have shoulder surgery, so that was the truth. These solid plastic glasses make a wonderful crunching sound. So what I recommend is a little party gag. You can stick one of these up under your armpit like this, and you go up to somebody and you say, my arms give me a little trouble. Could you just kind of give it a little bit of a, oh! Sounds just like breaking bones, and you'll be the hero and star of the party.
Just like that.
So, woo! I think we're done.
Okay. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit!